allowed is foreign exchange received as pension, etc., or realized on conversion of assets which were acquired when a person was a non-resident, or received as gift or remittance. Now, one distinction is that for remittances from RFC account, there are no restrictions. So, Schedule 2 and Schedule 3 of the current account rules do not apply to remittances from the RFC account. On the other hand, the law also allows for setting up a RFC domestic account, which is somewhat similar to a EFC account, because it allows a resident to receive money on account of any services which he provides outside India when he is visiting abroad, again not in connection with business in India, from any non-resident who is on a visit to India for any gift or honorarium or services. Unspent foreign exchange for travel can also be put in the RFC domestic account, gift from relatives, etc. But the remittance from RFC account is regulated by Schedule 2 and Schedule 3, so you cannot exceed the limits in Schedule 2 and 3. Foreign employees who are on deputation to India can also open accounts abroad. So a foreign citizen is permitted to open an account abroad for receiving salary from Indian employer. Similarly, Indian citizens who are on deputation to India can also receive the entire net salary subject to payment of taxes in India. One thing to note is that between the current account rules, which allows for net salary to be repatriated, that means that a person should be a resident but not permanently resident. So if you know, the condition for not being permanently resident is that the employment contract should be less than 3 years. So if the employment contract is more than 3 years, he cannot use the current account rules to remit his entire net salary for maintenance of relatives. But under this particular regulation, where it allows me to receive my entire salary abroad, or to set up a bank account abroad to receive salary, that restriction of being a not permanently resident is not there. So which means that even if my employment contract, let's say an expat, is a 4-year contract, I can still under this regulation open a bank account abroad and directly receive my entire net salary there. So that's one distinction to note. The last topic is remittance of assets by non-residents. So foreign citizens who are expats who come to India for employment, they can convert their rupee account into NRO account and remit money like their rent, interest, dividends, whatever they receive. Similarly, NRIs can also open an NRO account, and permissible debit from there is the rent, etc., which is received. If an NRI does not have an NRO account, then he can apply to a banker for repatriation of his income from India, or he could credit the money to his NRO account in India. For foreign nationals who want to redesignate the rupee accounts to NRO account, there are certain conditions, and we will very quickly look at some of them. Before he converts the rupee account to NRO account, he has to give full details of his income, which will be received in that account, to the banker. And so he should be careful in bringing out all the remittances which he expects to make from India, like his PF dues or whatever. AD should satisfy himself that the credits represent bona fide remittance to be made. The fund should be repatriated immediately, so you can't keep his balance in the NRO account and use it for earning interest on deposits, etc. So these are some of the conditions. Similarly, for under the $1 million scheme, a foreign national of non-Indian origin who has retired from employment in India or who has inherited assets from India can remit under the $1 million scheme, subject to providing necessary document to the banker. This facility is also available to NRIs, as you know. So NRI can remit out under the $1 million scheme out of his balance in the NRO account. Now, I don't know if some of you might have experienced the practical difficulty here. When you go to remit the money to the banker, he might say, give me a 15 CB certificate again. Now, if that represents my balance in the NRO account, what do I mention in the 15 CB certificate? Now, if there's an existing balance in the account, I don't know if anybody has dealt on that issue. When I tried to ask someone, he said you just deposit that money in a fixed deposit for 10 days and then withdraw it and then remit it, saying that this is refund of your fixed deposit money. So that can be one practical way. No, it's not payment to sell. I am put NRO account balance. I can have it's an income which I earn on the deposit. Let's say 10-day deposit. I earn a nominal interest. That amount, it's my NRO account. I can repatriate that account. So in my 15 CP, I can mention refund of deposit from banks and whatever interest is there, that is taxable. At least it gives a particular color of a transaction to the money.
Can't we mention it as circular amount of NRO account?
Yeah, but how would that be taxable? I mean, there can be practical difficulty because let's say it was arising out of a immovable property transaction before 3 years, or some interest earned where practically you might not be able to identify the income component.
But you're supposed to look at the entire statement and find out whether a tax is paid.
But is it practical? I mean, how much?
Otherwise, no for income tax is easy.
Yeah, I mean, how does one do that? Let's say there are hundreds of transactions.
Supposed to go back on
No, there are hundreds of transactions. How do
filing
you
of the
do that?
return, but the filing of the return you look at it.
The return would have been filed each year.
Correct, but for that purpose, otherwise the return have been filed in the previous years. What you need to see only is the current year's transaction.
So let's say if my entire accumulated balance for 5 years now been repatriated. So when the CA has to give a 15 CP, what would he describe all the 5 years transactions?
In previous years, he must have filed the return because it was taxable. So up to last year, there is no problem. What you need to see is only current year's transaction, which is.
So he has to reference all the transactions. That is another way possible. Somebody told me we do that. We just put the money in a fixed deposit for years and then repatriate it. Similarly, if you have sorry.
It's really easy way out because if you go for inheritance and they ask for a lot of documents and sometimes there could be a lot of complications.
Yeah, there
That's
could
to
be
their
complications.
discretion.
Exactly.
Each bank has its own code to verify your documents.
Exactly,
So
yeah.
this is a good way out.
Practical shortcut.
That is the correct way.
No.
It's not a legal way.
Yeah.
So long as you have your documents.
In it, putting in a fixed deposit and taking out, it's not a legal way.
No, my money is put in a fixed deposit, which I am referring to.
Which money is put?
Which money is put?
Ultimately, whether
No, but then which
how can I
transaction?
issue a certificate
No,
on the basis?
but then
I
which-
want something like keep it in an FD. Can you say that it was not my income earlier?
No, but then
How
which,
can I issue a 15 CP?
but then which transaction? Suppose we have done hundreds of transactions in the last 3 years. You have to go back to each
I have
of them.
hundreds of transactions. I put it in an FD.
Correct.
That does not mean that that was not my income.
No, true. Otherwise, you have to go back to all the 100 transactions.
Before the FD, I have to go back.
You have to go back to all 100 transactions.
Just to identify the income component. It's not a legal way.
Similarly, if you have an NRE account, then you cannot use the $1 million scheme to transfer money from the NRO to NRE account. You can repatriate the money abroad, but the law does not allow you to remit to NRE account or to remit to the NRO account of somebody else. Another practical issue comes from liquidation. So under the remittance of asset scheme,
That is permissible.
from NRO to NRE.
Yeah, NRO to NRE, $1 million scheme.
Or you can remit the money, both are permissible.
Both are permissible.
The remittance is obviously allowed.
Yeah, so this is also
From NRO to NRE. But from NRO to another NRO account of somebody else. I don't know.
That is not
Then if you have a company in liquidation and the remittance of scheme allows for liquidation proceeds to be remitted subject to a certificate from a liquidator. Now in the case of an Indian resident, you can also get assets in specie. But the remittance of asset scheme does not allow a non-resident to get assets in specie. So there will be a practical difficulty where during the liquidation somebody in India can get assets in specie and sell it, but a non-resident will have to wait till the liquidation is over, get an official liquidator's certificate and only then remit the net proceeds. These are some of the issues I thought maybe I should bring out in remittance of assets. If anybody wants to discuss anything else or wants to go for early tea.
I'll request Varsha to propose a very happy.
Friends, whatever we study in FEMA, or finally, like what the particular transaction a person resident in India can do or a person resident who is not resident in India can do. Ultimately, the client is interested in saying that his money is in his kitty. And the second thing, when it comes to spending, he wants to do it with the least compliance or the vulnerations that is there. And so, whatever situations we have discussed today, itself shows how dynamic this subject is. So, Sir has given us a very useful insight in understanding these provisions of remittances and the different modes for different situations and different types of persons who can do. So, we are really thankful to you for this valuable contribution to our study course, and with these words, I request all of you to stand up. And sir, the issues that actually remained unresolved, we have taken note of it, and since we're going to have a brain trust and the case study session, definitely. And in fact, I would suggest that, because on Saturday we are going to have our case studies and brain trust. Whatever questions, any practical life, whatever difficulties you face, and you want solutions, we got stalwarts answering our questions. So please note them down, and by Friday also, if you can give it us, we can still request the speakers to consider those queries. Thank you. We'll break here, but friends, the team may not be ready immediately, so we'll have to wait some time. We assemble at 3:30. Yeah.